right, LDMMAC. This is your boy, the Coach, live on the Coach Show, live. Okay, guys, I was asked to give my thoughts on the Ben Askren situation, and notice that I didn't call this a debacle. This is not a debacle, okay? This is a situation this man is dealing with, a lot of going on right now in his life. So I want y'all to forget that, maybe some of us, we didn't like Ben Askren personality. We didn't like him as a fighter, okay? But let's kind of put all that aside. Let's put aside that this man said some crazy things. Let's put aside his race. Let's put aside what he believes in. Let's put all that aside, and let's talk about what's right, okay? This man is fighting for his life, okay? I'm going to tell you, Ben Askren is in need of a lung transplant. Now, we can talk about that and how things happen. I think I heard DC and those guys, they were talking, and from what I understand, Ben Askren had a staph infection. And somehow the staph infection got worse, and somehow the staph infection spread it to his lungs, and somehow this particular, really rare version of a staph infection began to, eat away at his lungs. Literally eat holes in Ben Askren's lungs, and that's what's happening. And then also, moreover, what I heard is that one of his lungs, side of his lung, is damn near completely gone because it's been eaten away at this particular brand of staph infection or bacteria that's just eating his lungs away. Ben Askren is on a machine that's helping him breathe. It's just something you just wouldn't wish even on your worst enemy. Let's talk about what's right. It amazes me that Ben Askren made these promotions money. He made the one, FC championship, made them money. He was a pretty good star for them. He made them money, made the UFC some money, fought in the UFC. And it's like more and more of these fighters, they don't have health insurance. They don't have it. A lot of these fighters don't have it. And it's just like, okay, you sign a contract and you get your money, but then what? About health insurance. What about stuff that happened? And see, Ben Askren, he didn't make a whole ton of money in his career. He didn't. Ben Askren started making six figures toward the end of his FC career. And I think he made six figures twice in the fights he had in the UFC. I think he made six. And then after that, Ben Askren, he was gone. He wasn't even on the roster anymore. Ben Askren made more money than damn near all of his fights combined when he fought Jake Paul. Now, from what I heard, Ben made $975,000. And plus, you had some pay-per-view perks on that. So, Ben Askren probably got a couple of million fighting Jake Paul. Probably, okay? Never made that kind of money. People's making fun of Ben, but, Ben made some good money. He made more money than he ever made in the combat sport and arena. And see, people, they give Jake Paul a hard time, but I'm going to tell you, Jake Paul is one of the only people that's stepping up to pay Ben Askren hospital bill, to actually pay to get, a lung transplant. Jake Paul. And Jake Paul has always supported mixed martial artists. He's always supported them. He's always, pretty much said what needed to be said. Guys like Dana White put up a GoFundMe. Isn't that something, man? Isn't that something? The guy who's almost a billionaire, right? The guy who's damn near a billionaire sets up a GoFundMe. Folks, I'm sorry, what kind of shit is that? Yeah, I get it. You and Ben Askren, y'all probably had your differences, but, what's right? And I'm not saying, is it Dana's responsibility to pay for Ben's hospital bill? No. Okay? You set up a GoFundMe. Okay, great. Okay? But honestly, y'all, do you think a lot of people are going to donate to that GoFundMe? Seeing as though they know Dana White's a billionaire, and Dana White can write the check and not even miss the money? Or, the people at the one championship, they can write a check and not even miss the money? Like, come on. Ben Askren done fought in a lot of different... He's fought a lot. Made some money for a lot of people except for himself. And unfortunately, Ben Askren didn't make a lot of money in his career. That's just what it is. And now the man is, he's struggling. He can't afford to pay for this transplant. He can't afford to. And I hope the MMA community, they get together and, I hope everybody, everybody who's in position and they got some kind of money, they got something, they can help Ben Askren. I don't think Ben Askren was a terrible guy. I just think he played the character of bad guy. But it's funny though, and I'm not saying it's Dana's responsibility. Dana didn't tell Ben Askren to fight. Dana didn't tell Ben Askren to do any of that. But you know, it's crazy how much money, man, that Dana done made off these fighters. And it's crazy how many fighters, after they leave the UFC, they not doing so well. You have a lot of fighters, man, they not well. They sick. A lot of these guys are broken down. They can't even find a way to make income. And moreover, some of these fighters, they homeless. Some of these fighters don't have anything. Some of these fighters don't have even a family to go to, because the fighting, just doing MMA period, was so hard on the family. Many of these fighters, they lost their families. Wives leaving them and stuff. Taking the kids with them. So when these fighters, they can't fight anymore, their bodies are all broken down. They can't do anymore. They can't even make a living. They can't go train somebody. They can't, go commentate because they done took too many blows to the head. Like, folks, it's something got to be done for these people that get in there and they go to war to make the promoter money. And people talk about John Jones. See, I'm going to bring it back to John Jones. John Jones understand what's going on, man. He get it. He get what's going on. I remember when John Jones talking about one of his biggest purses back in the day. Man made $200,000. And I said, damn, he made $200,000 while Dana made $20 million. Francis Ngannou talked about making $650,000, while Dana made $60 million. Like folks, you see what I'm saying? Who's in there? Who's in there? Who's in there putting their body on the line? Who's doing it? I know Dana White, he's promoting and putting these cards together, and I know that he's doing this, and a promoter deserved their cut. But damn, y'all, why the promoter got to get the lion's share? Like, Dana White got to take home like 80% or the company taking 80% of all the money. And these fighters can't get a damn thing, y'all. These fighters, when they get sick, they don't have anywhere to go. These fighters, they get sick, they have nowhere to go. They have health insurance, y'all. They don't have it. And then when these fighters die, they don't have life insurance. A lot of these guys don't have life insurance. A lot of these guys, we see they got on the UFC logo. We see, but many of these people in the UFC, folks, they broke. That's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. And one fighter, I ain't gonna say their name, but I'm sitting here, and I'm looking, trying to talk to this fighter. And this fighter, they signed with the UFC, and they were just acting like, hey, they've arrived. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, this fighter telling me, okay, I gotta talk to your manager. I gotta talk to your manager. He taking 10% of the fight money. Okay, he negotiate the contract. He get 10% off the top. He getting his 10%. He ain't got to go in there and take no chances and get his face messed up. He gonna get his 10%. Okay, then this fighter had to pay a trainer, had to pay him. Okay, got to pay taxes. And this fighter was just acting like they got all this money. I'm saying to myself, you need all the exposure you can get. You ain't got no money. You broke. And now this fighter, unfortunately, not in the UFC anymore, and they got an OnlyFans account, but they not new. They just doing instructions. And honestly, when you doing OnlyFans, people not going to see MMA instruction. People ain't going to see that. Everybody know why you going to OnlyFans. But, got to make ends meet. Got to make ends meet. Ben Askren was struggling financially, folks. It's just what it is. He was. And now this. Like, a gym is not the most sanitary place. I don't know if any of y'all have ever been in a gym, but I'm going to tell you, it's uncomfortable, it's hot. And then, you begin to become immune to body odor. When people stink in a gym, it's so damn hot that your other senses, they go away. You can't smell much when it's that damn hot. You can't smell. And the gyms are so unsanitary. You have all these people, they sweating on the floor. They leaving their body fluids all over the floor. And then, you have to have somebody in there that's sanitizing these floors. You have to have somebody sanitizing. The key is, if nobody's not sanitizing, mopping the floors, then, they assign a fighter to do it, but it depends. I know in the gym that I roll in, I go the day before and I do the sanitation. I go the day before and I do the sanitation. And when I'm there, I put myself in charge of cleaning the floors because I know I'm going to do a good job. See, those mats in those gyms, they got pores in them. It's like skin. And so when you sweat and all that stuff gets on the pores of the mat, it goes into the mat. So now you got these bacteria and this fungus and all this stuff that can fester inside those mat pores unless you sanitize it properly to kill those germs. And some gyms nasty. Some gyms, they don't even clean the floor. They don't sanitize the floor. You're supposed to do that every single day. Some gyms don't even do that. And some people be coming in there and they ain't showered. And it's just a gym. It's one of the most unsanitary places that you could step foot on. It's unsanitary. And some fighters, they put on socks. Like some fighters don't even go in their bare feet in some gym. Like you'll see some fighters in there with some socks. Because they know they ain't trying to catch no shit on their foot. You ever see some fighters in the gym with socks? It's because the floor is so unsanitary that they don't want to catch anything. They just don't want to. And they don't have time to be sick because they got fights and they got bills to pay. Ben Askren definitely got an infection. You know, you being in wrestling gyms, man, it's what it is. But I just found it funny that people like Dana, they can afford it. It's not like this man don't have an abundance. He can afford it. But, hey, the audacity. You guys remember, I don't know if y'all remember HBO when, what was his name, Madrimov? Or, Margomed. Margomed. Yeah, he got hurt. He got injured. He turned into a vegetable, man. The guy turned into a vegetable. And Jim Lampley, punk ass, gonna get up there and tell me, yeah, we got a link. We got a website to a donation that you can give your donations. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, this is, wait a minute, this is HBO. This HBO can't afford to get this man the help he needs. HBO can just cut the check, man. Folks, I didn't understand. But these people, man, they so damn greedy. They people like Dana White, they greedy. They greedy, man. They don't want to do anything for anybody else. And I ain't saying Dana, he can do what he want with his money. That's his money. Dana can do what the hell he want with his money. Okay, that's what I'm saying. He'll go out, he'll buy these chargers, he'll buy all these stuff. But damn it, when it come time for him to try to step up, sometimes he ain't gonna do it. But Dana White putting a GoFundMe up and won championship, one fighting championships. They being quiet on this. It really does kind of tell you what you worth as a fighter. And I'm sorry, it's no wonder that John Jones is taking the stance that he's taking. Why am I going to go in there and take this risk against Tom Aspinall and y'all don't even want to pay me? Y'all don't want to give me the payment that I want. Y'all see, the days of John Jones making $200,000 and Dana White making $20-25 million. John ain't trying to hit that no more, man. And a lot of these fighters, they starting to wake up. A lot of these fighters, they getting smart, man. They're getting smart about what's going on. And this is the total. It's the total pimp scam. They've been pimping these fighters. And so now when fighters like Ben Askren, who really who have a need, not asking for a handout, the man is on a ventilator. Got a machine helping him breathe. And you mean to tell me, Dana White, your bald punk ass, you're going to put up a GoFundMe? And I don't know if Dana put anything in the GoFundMe. I don't know. But when you set up a GoFundMe and you asking for the public, it shows you what he think. It shows you what he think. Like the man are overcharged for these damn seats when you go to his fights. He don't care nothing about the fans. He don't care nothing about the people. He damn sure don't care about these fighters. You have fighters that be taking these short notice fights. And I told the fighter like a couple weeks ago. And I ain't gonna say, but she was saying she thinking about taking a short notice fight. I said, why? Why? I need the money, coach. I said, but yeah, you still injured, right? Yeah. I said, think about it. You take a short notice fight. You need money. You're gonna need more money when that short notice fight over. Well, they called me and asked me to take it, and when they call you and ask you to take these short notice fights, you kind of have to take them because if you don't, it'll just prolong your time in the organization. Yeah, but what if you get injured? What if you get injured no more than what you are? It's crazy. You remember that year Angela Hill took all them damn short notice fights? I think she fought like 6 times in 1 year. That was insane. She fought 6 times in one damn year, y'all. 6 times in a year. That's crazy. That's crazy to me, man. It is what it is, though. See, one day, these fighters, they're going to come together. And I hope and pray that this is what they do, man. They're going to get some of the money that they're owed. They're going to recoup some of this money that they actually owe. This man, these fighting championships, they've been robbing fighters for years at a time, y'all. They've been robbing and taking and stealing from these fighters for years. You know what? And the UFC wouldn't even lose a lot of money, man. They set aside a thing to where these fighters can get the help they need. They can't. You'll be like Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, now Ben Askren. It's a damn shame, man. It's a damn shame. And I say to that, man, Dana White. Man, Dana White. That's right, I said it. I said it. And more of these fighters need to have the same stance with this guy. More and more of these fighters, they need to take that stance with him. Okay? And when these fighters are in a position when they can demand the money, they need to demand the money and go get the money. People do all these favors for this man. You got fighters saving shows. But when these fighters really, really need Dana White, he's nowhere to be found.